It's time to sit back and check out the RCWR show with Lee Sanders. Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From hit TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your host, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Covering the latest in wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. You guys are checking out a Saturday afternoon edition of the RCWR show. We are covering WWE Crown Jewel Fallout. What did you guys think about the event? That's solid. You experienced it in real time. Sound off. I got some polls up, but you can comment as well. I'll definitely show you some love and read y'all's comments. But if you haven't interacted on our polls yet, do your part and let your voices be heard. Cast your vote. X, formerly known as Twitter, at the RCWR show. We also got a poll up on youtube.com/the RCWR show. I'm just a little bit curious right now, so I want to poke my head and I want to see how you guys are voting so far. Let me go to X, formerly known as Twitter, first and see how you all are doing it over there. You guys having a fantastic weekend so far? I hope that you are. I can't complain at my end. Although I gotta admit to you guys, it's really weird because I went into this Crown Jewel event pretty excited. And then I came away from it going, man, I get more excitement. I get more sizzle. I get more energy. I get more from my plant science class than what I experienced in watching this edition of Crown Jewel. That's just me personally. But I see so far, this is the X poll. So far, we have 8% of you all that's saying the event was an awesome show. 25% of you are saying it was a below average show. I'm seeing 16% of you are saying these specials, these Saudi Arabia shows, they're no longer feeling special. And you're only going to see that option exclusively on X, by the way. And majority of you guys are saying it was a average show. So that's how it's looking over on X right now. And let's see how you guys voted on the YouTube channel here. You can find the YouTube poll, youtube.com/the RCWR show. Click on the post section and then you'll be able to easily find it that way. YouTube, you guys are 100% of the votes. I know that's going to change drastically, but 100% of the votes that's coming in right now is saying it was a awesome show. Look, I'm not going to beat around the bush on this one. I literally was saying to my wife right before I came up here, I said, the goal is to not have this post show be an hour plus long because it's just not deserving of that. I can remember a time when the Saudi Arabia shows first came to fruition. There was so much buzz. There was great curiosity. There was so much excitement. And I know I was one of the flag bearers for WWE and saying, well, you know what? It's going to be great to experience through the eyes of Saudi fans how they interpret and how they're either liking or particularly not liking certain characters in the WWE. It's going to be great to get their reactions because this is literally a rarity for them. It's not like WWE is frequently coming to their neck of the woods and everything. And we've seen this multi-year deal be arranged between WWE and the Saudi prince to bring two events to them every single year and all of that. And, you know, I remember for those first couple of years, these Saudi shows, yeah, you can skip them. There's nothing going on, nothing special. You're not going to miss anything. It's not the end of the world. And then WWE decided, okay, we got this stigma that's out there. Well, let's start shaking it up a little bit. Let's start giving fans something to talk about here. And those of you that's checked out my shows over the past couple of weeks, you all know that going into this edition of Crown Jewel, I said to you guys, well, look, not for nothing, but some of the matches that we have on the card here, when you're looking at it on paper, you're going, okay, this should be pretty good. Yeah, we should be all right. But coming out of it now that the event is over and done with, I gotta say there really was only 2 matches that really I go, okay, for anybody that didn't watch Crown Jewel, look, not the end of the world. You really didn't miss anything. Nothing substantial, earth-shattering went down. Honestly, go out of your way, watch these 2 matches, and everything else you can pretty much skip. By the way, this Monday's WWE Raw, that is going to be pre-taped because they pretty much are going to be filming Raw. I think the filming for Raw is underway right now, but they're going to be filming it. I would imagine spoilers are going to be released before the weekend is out and everything. But really, when I look back on the 6 matches that we had from Crown Jewel this year, I got to say, Cody Rhodes taking on Gunther, pretty solid match, but this may shock some people in what I'm about to say. The match that I enjoyed the most, and maybe it's because I knew what I could expect from Cody and Gunther, but the match that I felt, you know what, that was pretty damn good of the night for this card. I got to give it up to Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed, quite honestly. I may be able, if you were to twist my arm, give an honorable mention to Bloodline taking on the OG Bloodline. But for me, the real meat and potatoes, Seth Rollins, Bronson Reed, and I pretty much was done after that. It's funny. I can't even tell you as far as how my emotional roller coaster went. I know that other than Seth Rollins, Bronson Reed, and then the main event match, my pulse and everything was almost at a flat line for most of this event. Maybe it wasn't for you guys. You all can sound off, let me know and everything. Opening things up, Bloodlines, Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Tonga, defeating Roman Reigns and the Usos. 6-man tag match, 16 minutes, 35 seconds. I don't think a lot of people had saw this going down the way that it went down as far as the Bloodline defeating the OG Bloodline. For a lot of people online, it kind of took the wind out of them there, right? Because it's like they were ready for that feel-good moment. They were ready for that. I'm not sure how I personally feel about this, because considering how this match was laid out, I think it would have been better if you were going to have the Bloodline go over. I think it would have made more sense to play upon the fact that Roman Reigns still has issues with Jey Uso. And you would have swore, for those of you that had watched this event and you were seeing Roman Reigns' facial expressions during Jey Uso's entrance and then right down till you got to the tag team action and everything, you would have thought that Roman comes off like he still has some internal feelings, some type of hatred. He's kind of in disbelief here. He's still pretty sour to the idea of welcoming Jey Uso back into the flock. Like, what's going on here? And they played it up really well. I just wish that the way things probably would have gone down in retrospect, seeing how the finish actually played out in retrospect, I wish it could have been a case where the big tease to Roman from Jey Uso, it just would have continued to be teased, continued to be teased, continued to be teased. I would have liked it had we seen Jey tag Jimmy and Roman's like, what the hell, man? I'm right here. I'm ready to go. Like, I'm the fresher man. Like, he's already gone. Like, it's my turn now. Let me get in that joint. Like what's up? Play up to that. And then maybe you could have got to another point where once again, it's Jey okay, surely Jay's going to make the tag to the big dog Roman Reigns this go round. And then maybe something weird goes down where Roman's not able to get that tag, and Roman he's continuing to feed into whatever's going on with his feelings towards Jay, is continuing to tap into it. And maybe Roman at that point just goes, you know what, F this, I don't need this. And Jimmy tries talking to Roman, hey man, we can't do Jay like that, come on, we gotta go back in there. I would have loved to see, basically in a nutshell, y'all, more miscommunication there, and it ultimately getting to the point where, okay, so this is definitively why the OG bloodline lost. And that's just not how it was laid out here in this match. So I think when you break it down the way that I just did, maybe those are the main aspects as far as why people kind of sour on the finish to this and everything. You guys sound off, let me know. I definitely thought that's the direction they were going to be going in, but it's not how they took it. As the final moments of this one, Roman Reigns connecting with the Superman punch on Sikoa inside the ring, setting it up again, tosses into Tama. Tama goes in there, takes out the referee. Everybody's getting laid out there. We got Fatu catching Reigns, spinning flying elbow. Then you get a moonsault. Solo getting up, picks up Reigns, Samoan spike, followed by another 1, 2, 3. That pretty much was how Bloodline picked up the win and everything. Now, despite what I had said, you want to look at it as somewhat of a negative. If you guys are keeping track at home, Solo Sikoa has like becoming the legend killer here, because remember, he defeated John Cena at the last Crown Jewel. And so for now, for him to get a W over Roman Reigns, I know there's a decent amount of people that just are not feeling Solo Sikoa. I get that, but also look at it from this standpoint, which is the bloodline gets the W, extending the feud even more and everything. You can make an argument, okay, they did a little bit with the tensions there between Roman and Jay, but to the points that I highlighted just a few seconds ago, would have been nice had they leaned more heavier into it and everything. Not I've seen better tag matches, especially involving just all these guys. I'm okay with how everything was laid out in this match. It was okay, it was all right. Like the addition there of Sami Zayn. They had Sami Zayn pop up in there at the end, kind of following up on some of the events that we had saw from Monday Night Raw. What's going on here with Sami Zayn? Is he with the bloodline, or is he still with the OG bloodline there? And we saw post-match Bloodline assaulting Reigns, stomping out Jimmy. I mean, just laying him out real good. Sami Zayn comes in there. You're wondering, where does his allegiance lie and everything. Sami pops up, hugs Solo, then suplexes him, starts taking the fight to Tama and Jacob for a little bit. Roman, Uso start rebounding and everything. And then we had a little bit of a miscommunication where inadvertently Sami hits Roman. This pisses off, who was it? I think it pissed off Jimmy Uso, who, remember what we saw from him on Monday night and what he was saying to Jay, can't trust Sami. It's all about family, Us, right? Kind of funny that Jimmy says that, considering all the discontent and just everything that's going on with that family right now. It's like, no, you probably want an outsider in that bad boy right about now. So kind of multi-layered what we got going on here, right? But the bigger question that I pose to you all, is Sami really the answer for the OG bloodline? Or does the help lie elsewhere in a certain great one? Because we still don't exactly know what role, if any, he has in all of this. And remember from what we had talked about several weeks ago with The Rock returning and everything at the last PLE. pay-per-view event. Okay, this is very multi-layer, like so many directions here with The Rock incorporated in all of this. So you still have to have that in the back of your mind while asking yourselves, is Sami Zayn the answer here for the OG bloodline? Or do you go elsewhere for help and ensuring but then where exactly will that leave Sammy? Will that leave Sammy feeling hurt, feeling betrayed, feeling outcast, and that ultimately he sides with the bloodline? Or does he mind his own business, stay out of family business, and go elsewhere? What exactly? Right. So to be continued. To be continued. From there, we had our women's tag team championship match. Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair retaining their tag titles against Kairi Sane, Io Sky, Lash Legend, Jakara Jackson, Chelsea Green, Piper Niven. By the way, while I'm speaking about the women, I just got to give a fist pump to the chest there, right? And I just got a Indy Hartwell. Oh, we'll talk about it on Monday's show. I promise you guys. But just to hear that news, little heartbroken over that one. A little heartbroken over that one. I'm just going. I saw a very bright career ahead of her, and I'm speechless right now. Seriously. If you were to pick my brain and ask me what do I think was going on there with Indy, I honestly I could not tell you. I could not tell you, but I definitely will say this. I think the WWE system failed her. So many fun, creative things you should have been able to do with her. And I'm not saying this as a disrespect to some of the women that's on the roster, but there are some women that I look at that's part of the main roster where I go, yeah, it's not happening. No, it's not going to come on anytime soon. Let's give this opportunity to somebody like Indy Hartwell, and let's see what happens from here. Um, just sucks. It just sucks. But yeah, Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair retaining their tag titles, coming in at 12 minutes. What do I say about this one? Some bright spots in there. You definitely had some missteps in this one. It felt like something that was just put together at the last minute, honestly. Hey, you getting ready to leave out the door? Yeah. Oh, you don't have time for a nice big full breakfast, huh? Yeah, nah, not really. Okay, well, let me just get a piece of bread and I'll just slap this crap together. There you go. There you go. Enjoy your day. That's how I kind of felt when I was watching this match right here. Nothing really, as far as gravitas, meat and potatoes, nothing really. Honestly, it just felt like, oh, we got to make sure the women represent. Well, let's just put this match together then. There you go. Have at it. Enjoy. Yeah. Could have done without it. I could have done without it. All the matches that was on this card, if I had to go, you know what? We really didn't need that one. We're good to go. This was it. And it felt more like just the overall show. Felt like we were watching a glorified house show. That's all it felt like. It felt like, hey, WWE's coming to your local neck of the woods. Say, what? Yeah, it's on a Saturday. Oh, okay. Well, anything. Well, this person's going to be there. Oh, okay. All right, cool. It is what it is. Seth Rollins, Bronson Reed, one of two matches of this entire card that I thoroughly enjoyed from start to finish. Letting you guys know right now, this one, not only my absolute favorite of the entire pay-per-view, but man, the work that these two guys put in. And by the way, Seth Rollins picking up the victory at the 12-minute, 20-second mark. Great outing, great effort by both men. Their chemistry clicked extremely well in this one. Both men looked good in their own unique ways. For Seth Rollins, the former multi-time champion, Seth Rollins looked like he didn't miss a beat. I know he's been banged up within recent months, been banged up a lot in 2024, honestly, and he's pretty much been having that Jericho schedule almost so he can recuperate and all that. But in this case right here with Rollins looking like he did not miss a beat whatsoever, looking damn good. Bronson Reed and Rollins looking exceptionally well from the standpoint of here is Bronson Reed, who is just throwing everything as far as the power goes and everything. Because this really was about power versus technical, right? Power versus technical, not so much speed, but definitely power versus technical. And here's the crafty veteran in Rollins that's throwing everything in the kitchen sink at this monster of a beast. And Reed is just coming back more and more and more. What was it? Three curb stomps, and ultimately Rollins was able to pick up the win. But then, even at that, a bloodied Bronson Reed standing up. Rollins couldn't even get to the top of the stage ramp to celebrate the win. I mean, it's just pretty much 1, 2, 3. Rollins rolls out the ring. He's kind of, yeah, and Bronson Reed's already coming to his feet. He's standing tall, looking dead into the eyes. I mean, he is locked in on Rollins, and just seeing the blood trickling down Bronson Reed's face. I mean, that whole moment right there, it just, if that did not have you finally go, okay, I'm definitely now a fan of Big Bronson Reed because I mean he held his own against Rollins. Damn good stuff. Damn good stuff. And then Rollins feeding into that moment, right? Rollins pretty much going, there's more where that came from. He's telling him, F around and find out. Mess with me again. Come look me up again and see what happens. It's going to be the same result each time. Stick your nose in my business again and find out what happens. I want to see these two lock up again, and hopefully we'll get to see it go down. But even in defeat, Bronson Reed looked like a damn badass. So this match and how everything was laid out, both of these guys came out looking really damn good. And I just want to say this before we move along. In regards to Bronson Reed, I know there was that narrative that was put out there, and I strongly disagree with this narrative, where some of my friends and colleagues in the podcasting world, they felt that Bronson Reed, for what he did to Seth Rollins weeks back, oh, this is just a case of Nakamura. He's gonna be a thing of the past. We're pretty much gonna forget about him in no time. He's just keeping the stove warm until Rollins comes back. Then he's gonna go back into obscurity or whatever. Like, no, I totally disagreed with that assessment. I thought that was a very piss poor assessment by those that put that out there because my thought process was no, 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 no. The big difference that Bronson Reed has over a Nakamura is despite the fact that he's got this Aussie accent of a thing going on, he sounds very soft spoken, does Bronson Reed. The look, everything, his English is very fluent. And you know what? He may have a different accent that kind of throws off that monstrous appearance a little bit, but you can make up for that by just, hey, say less. And to WWE's credit, that's exactly what they have had him do, as he's just going in there wrecking mofos left and right, rinsing. You can go far with the way you've got Reed set up right now and a little bit of dialogue that he puts out there. You can go pretty damn far with this guy. Bright career ahead of this young man. He is crushing these opportunities that he's getting left and right. But yeah, for my money, I definitely have no problem seeing him and Rollins lock it up again. So good match, best highlights of the night, without a doubt. One of the best matches for Crown Jewel. That takes us to our next bout. Remember, this is one of two matches for crowning new Saudi Arabia champions, and we found out by Triple H leading up to this event that whoever wins these Crown Jewel Saudi Arabia heavyweight championships for the men and the women, these titles would only be in Saudi Arabia. They're going to be staying in Saudi Arabia, part of their little WWE museum access thingamajigga. But Triple H is going to give the winners these Crown Jewel Super Bowl like rings to pretty much represent their championship that they won. And they pretty much will be able to run around, push these rings all year long, state to state, country to country, wherever they go. Basically, it's kind of one of those, how many can you collect? How many rings can you collect, right? So I get what they're trying to do here, but it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier, which is, yeah, it used to be a time where these things felt really, really special. These Saudi Arabia shows, particularly these Crown Jewel joints, but now it's just, yeah, let me put it to you this way. Let me put it to you this way. Longtime listeners that's been following the shows, longtime listeners will know this. So every Saturday, I take a plant science class. Okay. And I can't tell you today specifically, I'm looking at my watch and I'm going, can we please get out of here? Can we? Because I'm excited to watch Crown Jewel. I'm like literally looking at my watch, like, come on, wrap this shit up. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Fast forward, I'm about 90 minutes in watching the pay-per-view, and I'm going, man, I had more excitement being with my fellow classmates in the green room, watering plants and getting the soil ready for some new plants, trimming. And like, I got more excitement out of that than what I've been seeing with the show so far here. Like, what the hell? So I get what they're trying to do here, but it's one of those things where I don't know about you guys. You sound off, let me know. But I'm about ready to go. Okay, look, I'm not going to move heaven and earth and adjust my schedule accordingly just to cover these shows, not unless like we're really bringing the sizzle, we're really bringing the bang here. It's now starting to get to that point where, okay, I'm not missing anything, no major title change, no major, okay. Oh, there was this great appearance by this star we hadn't seen in a good minute, or hey, this person who we hadn't thought of, wow, like if we're not going to go in that direction, then it's kind of one of those, why am I bending over backwards to? And I'm sure that's probably on the minds of a lot of people after watching this event, because it definitely was mediocre. If you tuned out after the match we just talked about with Rollins and Bronson Reed, I don't blame you guys. But for those of you that stuck around, well, you had your women's Crown Jewel Championship match between Liv Morgan, Nia Jax. Once again, Tiffany Stratton coming in there, teasing that she was going to be cashing it in or not. Nia Jax, once again, what are you doing? Why are you sticking your nose in this business here? This doesn't concern you. Like, go away. Like, no, go back. Don't need you. Tiffany's a little heartbroken overhearing that and all that. Liv taking advantage of the distraction there, nailing Nia Jax, the offense there for a little bit. Wasn't able to pull it off though. But going towards the end of it, Dominic, Dirty Dom sliding in the briefcase, Raquel nailing Nia from behind, refs back and all that. Liv hitting the Oblivion, 1, 2, 3. Liv picks up the win. A lot of overbooking that was going on in this matchup. Two things, a lot of overbooking, and then a part of me, my mind couldn't help but drift off and think about Rhea Ripley and speedy recovery to Rhea Ripley. Her injury, I'm sure a lot of you guys know by now, she's dealing with some type of a orbital issue there going on with her eye. Some went down with her eye socket. So long story short, she's going to be out for several months. You just hear that, you go, God damn, tough break, Rhea. Like seriously, tough break. I can't help but wonder, okay, if it wasn't for the injury, would she have had some type of a role in somehow screwing Liv out of this? And you just can't help but wonder if that might have been part of the original finish for this match or what. But a lot of overbooking done on this match. Liv pretty much getting the W, thanks in part to help from her Judgment Day stalemates. The Tiffany Stratton stuff, that was kind of nice as well. Yeah, I like that we're continuing to throw her in the whole loop because it's okay. Will she or won't she? Yeah, Nia Jax telling her one thing, but like since when? Like, is Nia your boss? Like, seriously, what's going on here? So, eh. Kevin Owens taking on Randy Orton. Now this was not a match. I know you guys are hearing that, and for those that did not watch it, let me explain. So Kevin Owens does his entrance first. Randy Orton comes out. Great ovation from the crowd. As far as best crowd reactions of the night, Randy Orton definitely got himself some love. Mad love, big time. Owens ended up attacking Randy Orton from behind. Bell with the chair, just taking him out big time. Stomping on him. Action goes over to the commentary table. Action continues. See a power bomb go down. There's just a whole bunch of chaos that just went down. You got officials that came out there. Owens comes in with a chair. Orton manages to get in a little bit of offense. I know Adam Pierce, was it? Yeah, Adam Pierce. He ended up getting a RKO. Orton gave him a RKO. Some other stuff had went down too. I remember something went down with Ari Davari. Something happened with him. There's just a whole bunch of mofos that got caught up in the crosshairs of these two men when it was all said and done. But the brawl in between Owens and Orton, it continued. And I think it went over to the equipment area where Owens ended up grabbing a chair, tosses it, climbs up into the stands, up to the top, elbow to Orton through the table in the equipment. That pretty much was the end of that. And then we had what appeared to be an abrupt commercial break. So, they pretty much was trying to sell the moment of, hey, there's just so much chaos. There's so much confusion and all. I don't mind the way that they did this, especially if the main story that you're trying to sell here, especially for the fans, is we're going to not only follow up on this once we're back in the States, but we're going to do this properly at the next pay-per-view, which is Survivor Series. I don't mind if that's how you escalate this feud. You up the ante of this feud a bit more and everything. Cool stuff. Nice brawl between the guys. Nice, good feel moments in there. I like the way this went down. I have no problem with this one whatsoever. Good stuff. United States Championship match. LA Knight successfully defended against Carmelo Hayes and Andrade. 9 minutes. 9 minutes of a match. A little too short for my personal taste. But great triple threat. Everybody clicked in this one. The ending, by the way, I was expecting a kick out, but you know what? Looking back on it in retrospect, no, that was pretty badass. Basically, Andrade had pulled Mello up, kind of slipped down, tripped him up a little bit, and he tries grabbing Andrade. And then LA Knight just came from out of nowhere, blunt force trauma, and that pretty much was it. Like it was a badass finish. Like it just came out of nowhere. You kind of were expecting for there to be a kick out, but the fact that there wasn't and match was over, LA Knight wins, you're like, okay, cool. Look, we've seen some incarnation of these guys locking it up on SmackDown these past several weeks and everything. So the fact that we ultimately got these three in a match with one another, it was good stuff. I actually had enjoyed this. My only gripe about this one, I wish it would have got a little bit more time. So the guys, because it felt a little rush. You go back and you watch this match, you'll see what I'm talking about. But for the little bit of time that they had with this one, they did good. They managed their time wisely and making sure they told not only a really good story, but the most important moves that needed to be pulled off. They did it. And credit to these guys too, from this standpoint. This did not feel like a case where I want to really make sure I stress this. This did not feel like a case where, my God, we only got 9 minutes. Oh, well, I got to get this off. I got to get this off. I got to get this off. And well, I got to get it. Didn't feel like that whatsoever. That's the best part that I liked about we've seen our fair share of those. 9 minutes. Oh, we're gonna do, sentons, frog splash, a side moonsault, 450 splash, corkscrews, like, no, they didn't go overkill with it. By the way, interesting news. Goldberg, I think he was, I can't remember if he was on ESPN college, their little show or whatever, college football show. I can't remember which show it was, but earlier today, right before Crown Jewel, Goldberg revealed that Triple H, Paul Levesque, and crew are granting his wish, whether some of us like it or not. He will be getting a retirement match in 2025. The way Goldberg is talking, he is under the impression he's going to be having that match against Gunther. What do you guys think about that? Sound off. You okay with that, or you'd rather it be a different opponent? Me personally, I wish it was against Braun Breaker. Do one more match. You got to do the honors. Put over Braun Breaker, as far as I'm concerned. One more match to talk about. Men's Crown Jewel Championship match. Cody Rhodes taking on Gunther. Cody Rhodes picking up the W. 23 minutes. I could have gone a little less. We could have trimmed this maybe by about 18, 19 minutes, quite honestly. But fantastic work by two of the absolute best that WWE has to offer in their men's division right now. I definitely will admit that. I wish, though, that we could have seen Cody Rhodes do more to get that victory, because it just seems like you got to throw the kitchen sink, the garbage disposal, the roof, the whole damn house at Gunther just to try to get a W over him. I didn't really like the fact that, towards the end of the match, Cody went up to the top. Gunther tries going for a sleeper. Cody does a rollover, pins Gunther. Like, I wasn't really a fan of that. Now, on the one hand, you can look at it and say, okay, well, the way that we did this, just by a hair, did Cody get the win over Gunther. It was only by a hair, right? And you're like, okay, right? So obviously, it's, winner's luck. Winner's luck. You won't be so lucky next time, right? So if you're trying to, if that was your intent, okay, I'm with you. But if that was not your intent and you really want, hey, this is an important championship, and all that good stuff, then there's that other part of me that's like, well, yeah, how come we didn't have the whole kitchen sink, the garbage disposal, the roof, the house thrown at Gunther? Yeah, I don't know. There was a part of me that was under the impression the way this was going to end. Like, if it was going to end with Cody, Cody would have been doing like 3, 4, 5 crossroads on Gunther to make sure he freaking, gets the job done on him and everything. But still, putting that to the side, fantastic outing, fantastic effort by both men. Well paced. Crowd was super into it. And I got to tell you, it helped big time feeding off the energy of the crowd for this one. They were loving every single minute of this one. Super into this one, super into it. Definitely the second favorite match out of this entire card, all said and done. All said and done. Good work. Good work. Can't sing enough praise for both of these guys. Nice throwback of a retro match too, that I must say. So Cody gets his ugly ass Saudi Arabia championship belt too, and we pretty much go off the air as Cody lifts the titles up high. Liv Morgan kind of joins them too, kind of like the little small midget. What's that Clint Eastwood movie with the midget? High Plains Drifter. I get beer too. I get beer too. Liv Morgan kind of running in there, I got one too. Like, I got a pose too. So they're posing, and it kind of felt like you were watching the end of a campaign story mode in 2K. I mean, I was just waiting for the achievement to bloop, achievement unlocked. It went to Saudi Arabia and won a championship. It's kind of one of those type of deals, and now the game resets and yeah, all that good stuff. So, in regards to this edition of Crown Jewel, some will look at this a couple of different ways. Some will look at this overall card and say, pretty solid show, some pretty solid matches, the brawl, the main event. Some will look at all of that. As far as being a memorable Saudi show, I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that. But looking at the matches once again, we had 6 matches that was on this card. I would say with the exception of really, I'm looking at the card here. I would say with the exception of maybe 2 matches, and some may feel I'm being a little bit harsh, but I would say with the exception of 2 matches that I honestly really could have done without, because I really personally didn't care for it. Um, I would say it was a good card overall. Good card over. Like, so let's break it down. Number scale: 1 being crap, 10 being awesome sauce. I'm leaning towards a 6.5 out of 10. So letter grade wise, I'm looking at maybe a C plus for this pay-per-view event. I'm not gonna go higher. I'm not gonna go any lower. Um, they maintain that C plus, I feel, largely in part because of Cody and Gunther. Then you take away Cody and Gunther, at least from my perspective, you take that match away, you definitely go down a whole letter grade, as far as I'm concerned. Well, actually, no. You take away Cody and Gunther, that C plus becomes a C. You take away Rollins and Bronson Reed, you're looking at a C minus. You take away OG Bloodline versus Bloodline, then you're looking at a D, as in David, in my book. So that's how I'm kind of looking at it from here. Once again, let's go to the polling results and see how you guys had voted. This time I'm going to go with YouTube because we did kind of buy you guys a little bit more time to cast your vote. And yeah, now that I said what I said earlier about, hey, we got like 100% of the votes coming in saying awesome show. Now we're getting a little bit of a better breakdown here. I'm seeing a tie at 20%. Half of you said below average show. The other half of you said it was an average show. Meanwhile, 60% of you are going with awesome show. Appreciate those of you that voted via YouTube. Meanwhile, over on X, formerly known as Twitter, let's see what we got going on here. Is that a mosquito? What's going on? Give me a second here. I hate mosquitoes. What is this right here? That's a gnat. I got it though. Meanwhile, on Twitter, or formerly known as Twitter, X. It is being real slow loading up here. I'm not sure what's going on. There we go. We got it now. We got it. It's loading up. All right, let's see what we got here for X. 25% of you below average show. 16% of you feel it's no longer a special show, these Saudi Arabia shows. I hear you. Let's see. 8% of you are saying awesome show. Top dog right now, 50% of you are saying average show. Keep the voting coming in. Sound off. Let me know what you guys think about the event. Maybe we'll revisit on what you guys are saying come Monday when it's all said and done. Meanwhile, I'm just curious. Oh, really? Nice. Hey, I want to give a shout out to Eric Young. I wish I could see this, but I don't have access to Access TV. Apparently, Eric Young is going to be chatting it up with Gavin Rosdale from Bush. And I just happened to see this post. So Eric Young is saying, what's your favorite material from Bush? Some of my favorites are Glycerin and Machine Head. I'd played 16 Stone in my car and it wouldn't come out for weeks. At that time, that kind of thing never happened. So apparently Gavin Rosdale is going to be, it's a show that Eric Young hosts called Vinyl Obsession. It comes on Sunday. So apparently Gavin Rosdale from Bush is going to be on there. Heads up for those of you that have Access TV. That should be a really fun interview. My God, I'm trying to think, like, who didn't I know that pushed Bush's 16 Stone album back in the day? I mean, that album was just all over the goddamn place. Razor Blade Suitcase, that was another one that was pretty damn good as well. Science of Things, that was another good album as well. So let's see what some folks are saying in regards to Crown Jewel, shall we? Let's you guys, if you want to put in a quick little comment, do it right now. This is your time. I'll buy you all a little bit of time by let's see what some folks are saying here in regards to this pay-per-view. So right now, I'm looking at our favorite site, Cage Match, trying to see what the overall pulse is on this. The average rating that I'm seeing for this year's Crown Jewel is 4.25 out of 10. You heard me right, 4.25 out of 10. Let's see what some folks are saying in regards to this. So you know how we do this. Most critical, most positive, and get a little neutral in there. So most negative, Morgo Mir, 0 out of 10. The event was a disaster from the beginning to end. The two matches for the Crown Jewel belt were boring, especially the main event. Triple threat for the U.S. title was a decent match. Liked Rollins, Reed. Opener match had great crown. Jay Uso was over as fuck. Yeah, Jay. You know what? I was talking about Randy Orton. Actually, Jay Uso number 1, Randy Orton number 2. Best crowd reactions of the night for sure. For sure. Let's see here. I think Sammy will return with Roman. So this is what, so there was actually some things that he liked, but to say 0 out of 10, that's a little, so maybe that's actually a 2 out of 10, maybe a 3 out of 10. I see Lady Snowblood gave it a 2 out of 10, saying that wasn't a good event overall. Gunther versus Cody was the best match of the show, but with a bad and lazy finish. I would agree with that. I understand they had to protect both champions, but it was really poor at the end. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Liv versus Jax was awful and the worst match of the show. Really? No, I actually thought the girls did relatively well. All things considered, I had a problem with the overbooking. That was the real issue for me. She goes on to say the other matches was mostly boring. It was really hard to keep the attention span. I will definitely admit that it was definitely challenging. All right, Paul, meanwhile, says 7 out of 10. I mean, you could notice Triple H didn't care a lot about this show. But now that it is over, we can finally build the title matches and war games for Survivor Series. The Bloodline versus Bloodline was fun, but never reached second gear. Agree with that 1,000%. The 4-way tag match for the women's tag titles was one of the best build-up matches in those titles history, and the match was pretty fun. Okay, somebody liked that one. Good. Seth versus Reed was pretty good, and while I think Reed winning was a better choice, he still looked like a monster after the match, without a doubt. The women's Crown Jewel match was bad, but not as terrible as I thought it would be. It wasn't a terrible match, but I'm not gonna say you gotta watch this. I would say if I were to grade that, match alone, man, maybe a C minus. I would give that one a C minus. Certain aspects I liked of it, but I definitely felt it was overbooked. Let's see. Kevin Owens and Randy didn't happen, but their brawl was great. Yeah. US three-way was great, and I'm surprised LA retained. I was sure we were getting a new champion. And the main event was easily the best match on the show with Cody and Gunther, showing why both are the best in the company. All right, let's check out one more here. Wrestling Forever, 8 out of 10. I would have to translate that. Looks like it's in German. Let's go with the next one. Quack, 7 out of 10. Great show. Roman Reigns and the Usos versus the Bloodline was good, but Sammy coming out after the match was yawn. But the match was good. Bianca and Jade versus Chelsea, Piper versus Damage Control versus Metaphor was okay. Seth Rollins versus Bronson Reed was horrible. What? Come on. Bronson Reed ended up having a bad match with Seth Rollins. How do you even do that? Really? I'll have to watch that again. No, I thought they did good. Nia Jax versus Liv Morgan was also pretty yawn, but at least Nia didn't win. Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton didn't end up being able to become a match, but they had a really fun brawl. See the constant theme here. See as far as what people are liking here. LA Knight versus Andrade versus Carmelo Hayes was also good, but felt kind of short. Cody versus Gunther was really good. It's a really good match, and Cody Rhodes won. Overall, though, match was great on the show. Great show overall. 7 out of 10. So there you get a little bit of the yin, the yang, and stuff in between, all that good stuff. And let me just check out social media one more time, making sure I'm not missing anything. Shout out to the 160 plus people that's checking out the stream right now. Appreciate you guys. And if you are in North America, I hope you cast your vote and you voted early. If for whatever reason you were not able to vote early, hopefully you'll be representing on election day. Get out there and rock the vote. I saw this really empowering, awesome story of this woman that is 104 years old that went to cast her vote. She felt if there was ever a time to, do her civic duty, like this was it. Look up the story. It was really, really cool. Something else that was really cool about that story as well. Her caretaker who retired. She had like a longtime caretaker that was taking care of her, I think for like 20 or 30 years. She ended up retiring. Well, that former caretaker ended up unretiring for that one day just to make sure that 104-year-old woman was able to go cast her vote. It's like awesome stuff, man. Awesome stuff. Love that. So look here. We did about 52 minutes, probably about 50 minutes, give or take. Let's call it. I told you guys we weren't going to do an hour plus of a post show. I told you we were going to dodge that by all accounts. Hey, little buddy, you want to make a cameo real quick? You do? One of my daughters wants to say hello. Come here, little buddy. This is the newest addition to the family. This is Precious. She's a sweetheart. She loves to eat, man. I'm telling you. Every time she lets you hear about it too. When she wants her food or whatever, she sounds like damn, who shot you? Because she's like, like, okay, calm down. You're gonna get that food. Don't worry about it. You're gonna get that food. Don't worry about it. Here she is though. A nice little sweetheart. Yeah, so if you're keeping track, that's now 3. That's now 3 kids. 3 little furry daughters that we got, but it's all good. It's all good. So me and Tams, we're gonna sit down sometime tomorrow and record a new edition of Wrestling with the Topics for you guys. So if you see us on live, definitely come hang out, say hello and everything. And then, of course, Monday, we're going to have another edition of the RCWR show after Raw goes off the air. A lot of news to get into. Some of it we're going to get into on wrestling with the topics, and then some more good stuff we'll get into on the Monday show. So yeah, you got 2 shows you could definitely check out. Meanwhile, Be Kind Rewind. Check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on downloads wherever you get your podcast. If you enjoyed this, definitely share, hit the like. If you're not hooked up on the YouTube, definitely show some love. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/the RCWR show. Subscribe. The more likes, the better. Really helps out as far as content recommendations goes for others and all that. And if you're checking this out via X or Facebook, hit the like, retweet, all that. It definitely helps out. For those of you though that if you're kind of like, we're maybe like me, maybe you were dealing with classes or you're in the middle of work. Some of you probably might still be at work, just trying to get an idea what's going on with the pay-per-view. Now that you've heard what you've heard and you still plan on checking out the pay-per-view, definitely circle back. Let me know your overall thoughts on it. Because depending on volume of comments that may come in, we could probably circle back on the Monday night show and look at the polling results one more time and factor in reading off some of you guys' comments on the event as well. But once again, Crown Jewel gets a C plus, so that's 6.5 out of 10 in my book. It is what it is. It's getting to that point though where it's like, yeah, you know what, you can miss me with all that. I'm just gonna like start sitting these out. Look, we got it out the way. Now the most important pay-per-view is underway, which is Survivor Series and War Games and all that. That's what it's all about. Get at your man on X, formerly known as Twitter and Facebook. Use the keywords the RCWR show. And until next go round, my pretty babies, wishing all of y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you all next go round. Take care.